Welcome to Bare Metal Cyber, the podcast that bridges cybersecurity and education in a way that's engaging, informative, and practical. Each week, we dive into pressing cybersecurity topics, explore real-world challenges, and break down actionable advice to help you navigate today's digital landscape. If you're enjoying this episode, visit baremetalcyber.com, where over 2 million people last year explored cybersecurity insights, resources, and expert content. You'll also find my books covering key cybersecurity topics. The Cybersecurity Storm, 5G, IoT, and the Next Wave of Attacks. The rapid expansion of 5G networks and the explosion of IoT devices have ushered in a new era of hyperconnectivity, transforming industries, cities, and daily life. While these advancements promise unparalleled speed, efficiency, and innovation, they also introduce an unprecedented wave of security challenges. The intersection of 5G and IoT creates a vast attack surface where vulnerabilities in device authentication, network slicing, and edge computing provide cybercriminals with new opportunities for exploitation. From sophisticated man-in-the-middle attacks to large-scale botnets and quantum-era encryption threats, the security landscape is evolving faster than many organizations can keep up. Understanding these emerging risks and implementing proactive defenses is critical to securing the digital infrastructure of the future, ensuring that the benefits of 5G and IoT do not come at the cost of cybersecurity. Overview of 5G and IoT ecosystems. The arrival of 5G networks marks a significant leap in connectivity, offering dramatically increased bandwidth and ultra-low latency. Unlike previous generations, 5G can support a massive number of simultaneous connections, making real-time applications like autonomous vehicles and remote robotic surgeries possible. This network also introduces the concept of network slicing, where virtualized segments of the network are tailored to specific use cases, offering customized connectivity. As promising as these capabilities sound, they introduce new security complexities, as slicing could be exploited by attackers to move laterally within network segments or compromise critical applications. Additionally, the reliance on edge computing in 5G networks means that more data processing happens closer to the end user, reducing latency, but also increasing the number of attack vectors that cybercriminals can target. IoT devices are flooding every industry, from healthcare and industrial automation to smart cities and consumer applications, creating an unprecedented level of connectivity. In hospitals, IoT-driven medical devices are improving patient monitoring, while industrial IoT is revolutionizing manufacturing processes through predictive maintenance and automation. However, these devices are often resource-constrained, meaning they lack the processing power for strong security measures, making them easy targets for exploitation. Consumer adoption has been equally rapid, with smart homes integrating IoT devices such as voice assistants, security cameras, and connected appliances, often with little concern for security configurations. Compounding the issue, IoT ecosystems heavily depend on cloud services for data storage and processing, introducing additional vulnerabilities related to authentication, encryption, and data integrity. The fusion of 5G and IoT is accelerating the growth of real-time applications, but it is also expanding the attack surface in ways cybersecurity professionals are still racing to address. The speed and scale of 5G enables seamless IoT functionality, but the more devices that connect, the greater the risk of unmonitored or compromised endpoints. This convergence blurs the line between information technology and operational technology networks, making industrial control systems and critical infrastructure more susceptible to cyber threats. As IoT devices communicate across 5G at high speeds, attackers can exploit vulnerabilities faster than ever, forcing organizations to rethink their security strategies. The sheer number of devices and the data they generate make it increasingly difficult to detect and mitigate threats in real time, escalating the urgency of cybersecurity adaptation. Security challenges in 5G and IoT ecosystems are both technical and operational, demanding new approaches to risk management. Network slicing, while efficient, presents a significant vulnerability if not properly isolated, allowing attackers to escalate privileges and gain access to critical services. IoT authentication remains a weak point, with many devices still using default credentials or lacking strong identity verification mechanisms, making them easy to hijack. The vast amount of personal and operational data collected by IoT devices raises significant privacy concerns, particularly in industries like healthcare and smart cities, where sensitive information is constantly transmitted. Managing the life cycle of IoT devices is another overlooked issue. Many organizations fail to track and secure these devices from deployment to decommissioning, leaving them exposed long after they should have been retired or updated. Emerging threats in 5G networks. Network slicing, one of 5G's most promising innovations, is also a double-edged sword in terms of security. By allowing operators to create multiple virtual networks within a single physical infrastructure, 5G enables customized connectivity for different use cases. But this segmentation also introduces new attack vectors. If an attacker compromises one slice, they may attempt to escalate privileges and pivot into other slices, gaining unauthorized access to sensitive data or critical applications. Poor isolation between slices further exacerbates the risk, as inadequate segmentation could allow malicious actors to bypass security controls meant to protect high-priority services. Worse still, attackers with knowledge of slice configurations could manipulate them to disrupt network operations, degrade performance, or reroute traffic for malicious purposes, making this a high-stakes security concern. Man-in-the-middle attacks have long been a threat to mobile communications, but 5G's high-speed, low-latency environment provides attackers with even more opportunities to intercept data. Weak encryption mechanisms or misconfigured security settings can expose data in transit, allowing attackers to eavesdrop on communications between users, applications, and even network infrastructure. The separation of 5G's control and data planes presents another security challenge, as attackers targeting the control plane can manipulate session handovers, disrupt services, or even hijack user connections. Spoofing base stations remains a tried-and-true method for redirecting mobile traffic, and in 5G, fake base stations can be used to mislead devices into connecting to rogue networks, enabling data theft and malware injection. Given the vast number of connections 5G supports, a single man-in-the-middle attack can have widespread consequences, particularly for enterprises and government entities that rely on uninterrupted, secure communication. Distributed denial-of-service attacks have plagued networks for years, but 5G's massive connectivity capabilities make them more potent than ever. The ability to connect billions of devices, from smartphones to IoT sensors, gives attackers a virtually unlimited pool of resources to exploit for botnet-driven attacks. IoT devices, often lacking strong security controls, are prime targets for recruitment into botnets, which can then be used to overwhelm 5G network slices with massive traffic floods. Traditional volumetric distributed denial-of-service attacks can bring entire network segments to a halt, while more sophisticated application layer attacks can target specific services, making mitigation efforts even more challenging. Defending against distributed denial-of-service threats in 5G requires new approaches that leverage AI-driven traffic analysis and real-time anomaly detection. But even with these advancements, attackers continue to refine their techniques, staying one step ahead of traditional countermeasures. Advanced persistent threats are a growing concern in 5G environments, particularly as attackers leverage the network's speed and connectivity to conduct long-term, stealthy cyber espionage campaigns. 5G's reliance on edge computing introduces a new battlefield for advanced persistent threat actors, as compromised edge nodes can provide attackers with access to sensitive data and processing power. The ultra-fast data transfer rates of 5G allow malicious actors to exfiltrate critical information in real time, reducing the window for detection and response. Beyond traditional espionage, cybercriminals and nation-state actors are increasingly targeting critical infrastructure, using 5G vulnerabilities to infiltrate power grids, transportation systems, and emergency response networks. As advanced persistent threats evolve to take full advantage of 5G's capabilities, organizations must rethink their cybersecurity strategies, focusing on continuous monitoring, strong authentication mechanisms, and rapid incident response to counter these sophisticated threats. The IoT-specific security challenges. IoT devices are notoriously weak when it comes to authentication, creating a massive security blind spot across industries. Many devices still ship with default credentials, usernames, and passwords that are either hard-coded or easily guessed, which cybercriminals readily exploit. Without strong authentication protocols, attackers can hijack devices, gaining unauthorized access to networks and data. The absence of multi-factor authentication further compounds the issue, as most IoT devices rely on single-factor authentication methods that are easily bypassed. Insecure provisioning processes leave another door open for attackers, enabling them to inject malicious code or take control of devices during the setup phase. Even when authentication protocols exist, they are often weak or outdated, allowing adversaries to manipulate or forge credentials, exposing entire IoT ecosystems to unauthorized access. Firmware vulnerabilities in IoT devices present another critical security gap, often stemming from manufacturers prioritizing convenience over security. Many IoT devices do not receive regular firmware updates, leaving known vulnerabilities unpatched and ripe for exploitation. Attackers frequently scan for unpatched IoT devices, leveraging published exploits to take control, install malware, or extract sensitive data. The lack of secure boot mechanisms exacerbates the problem, allowing malicious actors to replace legitimate firmware with rogue versions that give them persistent access. Unauthorized firmware modifications are particularly concerning in industrial and healthcare settings, where compromised devices can be manipulated to disrupt operations or provide false data. Without a strong update mechanism and integrity checks, IoT devices remain one of the easiest targets for cybercriminals looking for persistent access points. Spoofing and impersonation attacks take advantage of weak IoT identification mechanisms, allowing attackers to mimic legitimate devices in a network. By imitating trusted devices, cybercriminals can gain access to restricted areas of an IoT environment, making it difficult to detect malicious activity. Injecting false data into IoT systems is another major concern, especially in environments where real-time decision-making relies on accurate sensor readings such as smart grids or industrial automation. Attackers can manipulate weak device identification protocols, tricking networks into treating rogue devices as legitimate, creating opportunities for data theft or system disruption. Smart homes and industrial IoT environments are particularly vulnerable, as attackers can hijack security cameras, thermostats, or manufacturing sensors to create chaos or gain unauthorized control. With so many IoT devices lacking proper identity validation, the risk of impersonation attacks will only continue to grow. IoT botnets have become a powerful tool for cybercriminals, leveraging the sheer number of vulnerable devices to launch large-scale attacks. Infamous botnets like Mirai and Mozy have demonstrated how unsecured IoT devices can be recruited en masse, forming vast networks capable of launching devastating distributed denial-of-service attacks. These botnets can also be used for spam campaigns, spreading malware, or even cryptojacking, where compromised IoT devices are secretly used to mine cryptocurrency. Remote control of infected devices allows attackers to orchestrate large-scale attacks without detection, making IoT botnets an ongoing threat to both enterprises and consumers. As attackers refine their techniques, compromised IoT ecosystems could escalate beyond traditional distributed denial-of-service campaigns, enabling cybercriminals to exploit interconnected devices for more sophisticated, targeted attacks. Securing 5G and IoT infrastructures. Securing 5G networks requires a multi-layered approach to protect communications, network infrastructure, and data integrity. Implementing end-to-end encryption is critical, ensuring that data remains secure while traveling across 5G networks, preventing unauthorized access or interception. The 5G core network, which manages authentication, mobility, and network functions, must be fortified against intrusions through strict access controls and continuous monitoring for anomalies. Network slicing, while a revolutionary feature, must be properly configured and hardened to prevent attackers from breaching one slice and pivoting into others, maintaining strong isolation between network segments, Real-time traffic analysis is essential for detecting irregularities, as the speed and complexity of 5G make traditional security methods insufficient in identifying evolving cyber threats. IoT security begins with strong authentication mechanisms, ensuring that devices cannot be easily hijacked through weak credentials or default settings. Regular firmware updates and patches are non-negotiable, as outdated software remains a primary entry point for attackers exploiting known vulnerabilities. Hardware-based security features such as trusted platform modules provide a root of trust, safeguarding device integrity and preventing unauthorized modification. Secure provisioning and onboarding mechanisms ensure that new devices are added to networks without introducing vulnerabilities, reducing the risk of rogue or compromised IoT devices gaining access, strengthening authentication, ensuring timely updates, and leveraging hardware-based security are all necessary steps in making IoT ecosystems more resilient against cyber attacks. Edge computing, which plays a crucial role in both 5G and IoT infrastructures, introduces additional security risks that must be addressed through strong access controls. Edge nodes process data closer to the source, making them prime targets for attackers looking to manipulate or intercept critical information. Continuous monitoring of workloads at the edge is essential for identifying and mitigating suspicious activity before it escalates into a full-scale breach. Microsegmentation can isolate edge computing resources, preventing lateral movement by attackers and limiting the damage if a breach occurs. Encrypting data at rest and in transit ensures that even if an attacker gains access to an edge node, the stolen data remains unreadable and protected from exploitation. A unified security framework that integrates 5G and IoT protections is essential for managing the complexity of interconnected networks. AI and machine learning can automate threat detection, allowing for rapid identification of anomalies that would otherwise go unnoticed in massive 5G and IoT ecosystems. Security controls must extend across both network and device layers, ensuring that defenses are not limited to isolated points but instead work cohesively across the entire infrastructure. Incident response strategies must be tailored to 5G and IoT environments, accounting for the speed and scale of potential attacks while enabling rapid containment and remediation. Collaboration across industries, governments, and security professionals is key to establishing standardized protections, fostering intelligence sharing, and ensuring a unified front against emerging cyber threats. Future trends and recommendations. Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing cybersecurity by providing real-time threat detection and response capabilities that would be impossible to manage manually. AI-powered systems continuously monitor vast networks of 5G and IoT devices, identifying anomalies that indicate potential cyber threats before they escalate. And machine learning models refine this process by predicting potential attack vectors, analyzing past incidents, and proactively identifying weak points in network defenses. AI-driven automation is also transforming incident response, allowing security teams to react instantly to attacks, reducing damage and minimizing downtime. Adaptive threat intelligence ensures that defenses evolve alongside emerging threats, making it harder for attackers to rely on predictable tactics or exploit static security measures. The rise of quantum computing presents a looming threat to encryption standards that currently protect 5G and IoT communications. While quantum computers remain in the early stages of development, their potential to break classical encryption algorithms poses a serious risk to data security. Preparing for this shift means implementing quantum-safe encryption methods that can withstand attacks from quantum-powered adversaries. Researchers are actively exploring quantum-secure communication channels, such as quantum key distribution, which leverages the principles of quantum mechanics to create virtually unbreakable encryption. As quantum technology advances, organizations must assess its impact on IoT devices, ensuring that future networks remain resilient against quantum-based attacks. Stronger legislation and compliance efforts are necessary to establish consistent security standards for 5G and IoT ecosystems. Many IoT devices currently lack proper security oversight, making data privacy laws a critical component in protecting users from surveillance, data leaks, and cyber exploitation. Establishing global security standards for 5G and IoT would create a unified approach to cybersecurity, reducing the inconsistencies that attackers often exploit. Manufacturers must be encouraged or even required to adopt secure by design principles, ensuring that security is embedded into IoT devices and networks from the start rather than treated as an afterthought. Regulatory enforcement through audits and penalties will further push compliance, holding companies accountable for maintaining secure and privacy-conscious infrastructures. The global nature of 5G and IoT security challenges demands cross-border collaboration and information sharing. Threat intelligence must be shared across industries and nations to create a collective defense against cyber threats that evolve at an unprecedented pace. Open collaboration on IoT vulnerability disclosures ensures that security flaws are addressed quickly rather than exploited in silence by malicious actors. Public-private partnerships play a crucial role in advancing 5G security research, bringing together government agencies, security experts, and industry leaders to create innovative solutions. Promoting education and training in IoT and 5G security is equally important, ensuring that the next generation of cybersecurity professionals is equipped to tackle the growing complexity of connected networks. Conclusion. As 5G and IoT technologies continue to reshape the digital world, the cybersecurity challenges they introduce cannot be ignored. The sheer scale and speed of these networks amplify existing threats, while creating new attack vectors that demand a proactive and adaptive security approach. From securing network slices and IoT authentication to preparing for quantum-era threats, organizations must implement robust defenses that evolve alongside emerging risks. AI-driven threat detection, global collaboration, and stronger regulatory frameworks will play a crucial role in safeguarding these interconnected ecosystems. The future of 5G and IoT security depends on a collective effort to build resilient infrastructures, ensuring that innovation and security progress hand in hand. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Bare Metal Cyber. If you enjoyed the podcast, be sure to subscribe and share it. You can find all my latest content, including newsletters, podcasts, articles, and books, at baremetalcyber.com. Join the growing community and explore the insights that reached over 2 million people last year. Your support keeps this community thriving, and I truly appreciate every listen, follow, and share. Until next time, stay safe. Knowledge is power.